Hi, I'm Jim Gordon. We're at the inaugural TSX Venture 50 Capital Conference in the Okanagan. Joining me now are Neil Currie and Howard Fitch, managing partners and co-founders of Capital Event Management. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Okay, Howard, I'm going to start with you. Can you walk us through how these events work and what is the format?
Thanks, Jim. So Neil and I founded Capital Event in 2010 with the aim of providing a forum for investors and issuers to get together and meet in a more one-to-one format than the traditional trade show where you're sort of hanging around a booth and hoping that you get some good investor pickup. So all of our events have the same format. We'll bring 40 to 50 investors and 40 companies together for a weekend of one-on-ones and networking. We'll start the event off with a cocktail reception the first evening, so everybody mingles a little bit there. Then the next day is the heart of the matter, where we do the one-on-ones. So the companies will sit tight, and every 20 minutes they'll have a new investor in front of them. We keep that moving along on a very good schedule, and so we finish it off with cocktails and dinner for the final night. Then we always have a nice little sort of fun activity on the final day to further bring the issuers and investors together on a personal basis, whether it be golf, fishing, skiing, what have you, depending on the venue. Right. The idea is here to develop relationships between the two. Basically, an issuer can get what would take several days of a road show to accomplish in one weekend with us. They'll have 40 investors to meet and mingle with and get a lot of value out of that.
Well, now, Capital Event Management has thrown over 60 conferences to date. Neil, I'll turn over to you now. How did the TSX Venture 50 conference evolve, and how does it compare to, say, your other events that you throw?
Well, with over about 300 clients, we're constantly looking for quality companies to introduce to our investors, and that's the only way we're going to continue to have quality investors come back. We've been entertaining this idea for a while, thanks to the managing director at the TSX Venture, Brady Fletcher. We've had a lot of support in this endeavor, and we figure that being a Venture 50 company is a huge acknowledgement. The venture has 1,700 companies plus on it, and the top 50 definitely deserve recognition. So it evolved by them coming to us and us sitting together figuring out how we could introduce them to our network of investors that over the last 10 years we've been able to basically narrow down to who's the A quality, and the Venture 50 is a great way for us to have the due diligence done for our investors. So that's why we're here today, and it was a great success.
And of course, you guys don't have a lot of time to rest. Let's move on. Howard, we'll look over at you and ask about upcoming events for you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I mean, we're certainly busy. We do 7 conferences per year. After wrapping up here in the Okanagan, we might take a little bit of a breather midsummer when the capital markets are a little bit quieter. But then we're on to Muskoka in late September. That'll feature a lot of Eastern investors and close to Toronto, of course, Muskoka District. Then we're going to be in Florida in later November. That's one of 2 U.S. shows that we do per year, which will feature exclusively U.S. investors meeting with our issuers, mainly Canadian issuers. After Florida, we move on to the Bahamas in January. This is a sponsored event by Alpha North Asset Management. We've been at it for 6 or 7 years now with Alpha North. This is actually a bit of a different show to our regular ones in the sense that it's a non-resource conference. These are all special situations, technology, biotechnology, healthcare, et cetera companies. After that, we come back to Whistler, which is where we started our events back in February 2011. We do the Whistler Capital Conference in early February. We move on from that to the Scottsdale event, which is our second U.S. show. That's always mid-April or so. Again, featuring U.S. investors meeting mostly Canadian companies, our issuers. Then we move on to Montreal. We have been in Montreal for the last 5 years now during the F1 weekend, the Formula One race. It's one of the few conferences we do where we actually stay inside the city because there's that real attraction of the race and so on. Draws a good crowd of investors and companies to that. And then we'll be back full circle next year to July here in the Okanagan with our second annual TSX Venture 50 Capital Conference.
A full year. Okay, Neil, I'm going to throw the last question at you. You guys, of course, started CEM Capital. Can you explain the new endeavor and also how does it create value for your clients who attend your events?
CEM Capital is a new endeavor, as you said, and it was always been in our original vision to be able to be the first investor meeting at every single one of these events. There's a lot of smart people in the room, and we want to take advantage of this wealth of knowledge. And we hired a fellow by the name of Ryan Iverson to come on board. And he left a career of trading at Raymond James, which he's been an existing investor of ours for many years. And we brought him on to basically manage our portfolio. Over the years, we've had some success with our own portfolio that's gotten to a point where now we can actually take it to the next level for our clients. So they pay us to come out here and meet a variety of different companies, but we can also be there to help support them, and we do hold over 80 positions in the market already. So we feel that this is a great way for us to have a guy that comes out and makes sure that these companies are being serviced fully.
Guys, I want to thank you for taking the time with us. Very busy for you right now. Congratulations on the success of this event. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jim.